here we have our winterize sheet on the next page, step by step. This is open classroom too. If you got any questions, we can ask them. Any kind of discussions. And I'm going to stop and pause and go off in a couple stories too. So. Number one is a note before draining your water system to make sure your water heater, 110 volt, and gas modes are both off. Your water heater requires water to be in it so you don't burn your heating element out. You also probably want to take the, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll get ahead of myself. So make sure your water heater is off. Step two, we're going to start draining down your water system. So you want to drain your freshwater tank and leave the cap off. I assume the last time you went camping, you drained your water tank. It's a big problem that we see is people not draining their water enough, draining your freshwater tank and your water heater. If you camp once a month, you should be draining your water heater once a month. Your water inside your water heater is going to be heated and it's just going to be sitting in the water heater getting stagnant. You get a lot of smell from that too. It'll smell like sulfur or rotten eggs in your water heater. Turn your water heater off, let the pressure off, drain your water heater, let the plug out, rinse it out with some water, refill it back up. So on your water heater, you have two different types of drain plugs. Two different manufacturers. One actually takes a nylon or Teflon drain plug. We also see a lot of people that actually take these out and screw in a pet top or put a brass pipe plug in there. You shouldn't do that. This tank is actually made of aluminum. When you put a steel plug in aluminum, it will cause oxidation. This is also a last safety feature. If your thermostat were to fail, your energy cutoff were to fail, this will actually melt and blow out of the tank instead of the tank blowing up and having an explosion. This will melt out. It shouldn't be replaced with anything else. The other manufacturer actually uses a steel and glass line tank and takes the anode rod into a 16th socket. Make sure the pressure is off before you start unscrewing this. They come off pretty quickly under pressure. So, these are sacrificial. When you start using them through the summer months, it will start to decay. That's what it's made for. It'll actually eat the rod instead of eating the tank. And this is where that draining your water heater once a month comes into play. This will start to get brittle. It will start to flake. This will settle in the bottom of your water heater. You want to flush that out regularly. When there's 20% of it left, about like it is now, throw it away and get a new one. I think they're $10 or $11. They last a couple of years.
Those are just used for smell?
No. It actually goes into electrolysis, which we won't cover. When your water is heated with a flame, it actually produces millivolts. It actually produces a little bit of energy. And it'll actually attack that anode rod. Minerals in the water will eat the rod instead of eating your tank. A lot of people don't know it, but you also have them in your water heater at home. You have an electric water heater. You have anode rods in them.
They tell you if you don't want to see the water to smell.
I've never heard that. If the water's clean and been flushed out regularly, you should never smell. If you're getting any smell, it needs to be flushed. So we're still on 2. We're draining the water system. On line C here, sorry we started a little early, we had some discrepancies in our flyers. Did you get a handout?
Yeah.
So we're on our winterizing steps. So far we have covered, we're on to draining your freshwater system. We've drained our freshwater tank. B, we have drained our water heater. Leave the drain plug out. When you do drain your water heater, some people worry about it. This is actually if you were to open your water heater door and look on the outside, this is the portion of the tank you're looking at. This is actually your drain plug. This one is a nylon drain plug. When you take that out, you'll notice that the tank still does have water inside of it. That's okay. Manufacturer says that's fine. Don't put any antifreeze in your water heater. It is going to freeze. It is going to expand a little bit, but not enough to actually bust the tank. This one was left full. This way. C, drain your low point drain lines. Almost every camper, I say almost, not every single one, somewhere outside of the camper there'll be two random lines, one for the cold water and one for the hot water. I have one on my simulation here as a low point drain. If you pull the cap off the end of it, open a faucet inside, most of your water is going to gravity drain out. Then you can put a more pure antifreeze into the lines. You don't have to do that. The antifreeze is going to push the water out, but you get a more pure antifreeze if you do it this way. I'm not going to drain mine for simulation purposes. You'll see why. Remove the filter from the water purifier, if equipped. Not many campers have water purifiers. The Flagstaff minis and that will have a water purifier. Sorry, power lines. Starting a little early. Actually 11 o'clock. If you have a water purifier, this is going to be full of water. You want to spin the cartridge off, or the can's booting antifreeze with water. Also, your filter element inside of here will take every bit of paint dye out of the antifreeze. First time I ever winterized a camper, it had a water purifier in it. I didn't know it. After running 13 gallons of antifreeze through this camper, I found the water filter and it probably glowed in the dark. It had so much paint dye in it. It was all coming out clear. It was antifreeze, but it was clear. It will take the dye out of it. It should only take about 2 gallons of antifreeze. Well, I pumped like 13 and it was still coming out clear. E, remove and drain your shower hose. I don't do that yet. I use my shower hose to winterize. Instead of opening your faucet in the tub and the antifreeze splashing everywhere and making a mess, I actually turn on the shower hose and I hold it down in the drain, and so I don't make a mess that I have to clean up. So I do that later in the steps here. So the water's out of our system. 3, bypass your water heater using one of the following. Turn the valves on your bypass kit. You're going to have to access the backside of your water heater. There's many different valve configurations, or manually removing the inlet and outlet lines from your heater and connecting them, just taking the 2 lines and screwing them together with a pipe nipple. We're seeing a lot of docking stations that actually have selector valves for the water heater and for the bypass kit. We're seeing these on fifth wheels. Your standard bypass kit It's going to look like this on the back side of your water heater. It's going to have 3 valves. So when it says turning the valves on your bypass, this is in summer use mode right now. So cold water goes in the water heater, heats up, comes out as hot. Actually coming this way. I built my display backwards this morning. So we're going to notice all 3 valves are horizontal in summer mode. In winter, we're going to close the cold, so it's cross grain. Close the hot, so nothing goes in or out of the water heater, and open the bypass loop. And by bypassing, just simply means it's going to bypass the water heater. Your antifreeze is going to come, can't go into the water heater, it's going to go up, go to the hot side of your sink. Then we can get antifreeze to both sides of your faucet. We're just going to drain the water heater, leave it empty. You can see all the handles are vertical now for winter. Some manufacturers are only putting 1 valve in at the bottom. That valve is going to be laying down in line for use mode, in line. For winter, when you bypass it, all you do is turn it up to the bypass. There's a check valve in the top. They can't backflow into the water. So you just got to take that valve and spin it up. Everyone's a little bit different. Number 4, perform these steps in order. Locate your water pump. And for your instance, you don't need to find your water pump because you have a docking station. So locate your pump. You may have to turn it on, go find it, listen to it. A lot of times they're hidden. They're going to be a panel that you have to unscrew and access the back of it. I know the Coachman Freedom Expresses are in the cargo compartment. There's a fake wall you have to take out. You have to find out how to access the back of it. Back side of your water heater too. 4B, disconnect the water line. Now this is if you don't have a winterized bypass. Disconnect the water line from the input side of the pump and move this line aside. If you're not sure which side is the suction side, normally that will just make a little loop and go straight down through the floor. It's drawn off your fresh tank. If you hook it up backwards, you're going to blow bubbles inside the antifreeze. You'll know if it's backwards. Hook up a short temporary hose to the input side of the pump. Now with this, we're also seeing Flojet pumps. If you have this pump with the white head on it, it requires a special fitting. You have to have this fitting. It goes in, it's a quick connect for your winterized hose. Sure flow pump has an actual thread on. Now, if you don't have one of these winterized bypasses, now's the time to put one on. Everything's in the kit. It's a 3-way valve. It includes the tape. It's got a winterized hose. Build it right in. It's there forever. All you got to do is turn the valve, and you're ready to winterize. So, place the end of the hose into a gallon container of non-toxic antifreeze. Close all drain lines previously open. Maybe you would pull the caps off your low point drains. Make sure they're back on. In order for that water to have gravity fed down, you would have had to open a sink to let air in to let the water out. Make sure all your sinks and everything is closed. Step 6, perform these steps in order. To pressurize the system, open a faucet, turn on the water pump, and turn off the faucet, making sure the system pressurizes and the pump shuts off. And here's why. When you turn your water pump on, it's not going to draw any antifreeze until it has a place to go. So I just opened it and shut it back off. That's a good habit to get in every time you, at least every spring. I had an older camper. I used to do it every time I brought it out. Pressurize the water system, let it pressurize and shut off. Sit there for 5 minutes and just listen. If that pump surges and kicks back on like that, it may be every 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It means you got a leak. Your water's going somewhere. When that pump pressurizes and shuts off, it should never come back on. So, good habit to just listen to your pump. E. Turn on both hot and cold faucets, one at a time, until pink antifreeze appears, then shut the faucet off, working your way through the whole RV. So I'm going to start with my cold. Starting to get pink. Make sure you get good pink antifreeze run through. Shut the cold off. Go to the hot. On your hot side, so you get good pink antifreeze, shut it off. Work your way through the whole RV. Don't forget to flush your toilet. Leave some antifreeze in the bowl. Antifreeze is really slippery. It actually lubricates your valve in your toilet, so your water don't run out. When your water runs out and your bowl doesn't hold water, you're going to get sewer gas back up. I maintain my toilet valve once a year. Put a plastic glove on, two fingers of Vaseline, open the toilet valve, lubricate that rubber O-ring. Keeps the water in your bowl, keeps the O-ring soft. Don't forget about outside showers, sewer flush kits, ice makers, washer machine prepped units. A lot of units now are coming with outside kitchens. Don't forget about them. Now is a time where I go back and drain my shower hose after I use it. Black tank flush kits are becoming more popular. We have an actual, this is a hand pump you can stick in a gallon. It's really easy for people that actually have docking stations or spray ports. If you had a kind of a small picture, but an outside shower, or they have the blue slinky hoses, actually take that hose and screw it into your black tank flush kit and turn it on, and that'll pump antifreeze up and back down into your black tank flush. They should not have water in them. The black tank flush kits actually go up behind the shower to the ceiling. There's an air admittance valve, and they go back down to the tank. It should break the siphon and go back down both ways, but if that were to fail to open up, the water line is going to be full of water and freeze. Step 7, the Winterize the city water connection. Turn off the water pump. Open the kitchen faucets, hot and cold knobs, and leave open. We're going to let all pressure off the system. For fifth wheel owners, you want to open your highest faucet. If you've got one up in the fifth wheel bay, open that one, because we're going to be gravity feeding this back down now. From the exterior, remove the screen on the city water inlet. Using a small tool such as a pencil eraser, push the center of the city water thing. Get a fresh towel here. And you should get pink antifreeze drain back out. That's the only way to winterize your city water connection. Again, with no pressure on it. If you can't press that easily, there's still pressure on it, you're going to blow the O-ring out of it. And if you keep reading, it says, did pink appear? If yes, go to G. If not, back to E. If you did not get pink antifreeze, it's real easy. Go back inside the camper. Turn your water pump back on for a second. Just get a little more antifreeze on the line. Go back and do it again until you get pink up here. Next page, step 8. Yeah.
Do that to take that pressure off so that you can do that.
Yep, let all the pressure off the water system. So on step 8, making sure your pump is off, remove your temporary hose from the water pump, reconnect the water line you took off, open all faucets and low point drains, pour an additional cup of antifreeze into the tub and shower drain. So I'm manually going to take the gallon of antifreeze, go to each seat in each tub, and pour at least 1 cup into the heat. But I'm going to back up here where it says,
Help you out with that.
all right, yeah, no problem. Open all faucets and low point drains. So here's why I did not drain my low point drain on step 2. I wanted you to see that even after we've winterized, this is still full of water. This is going to freeze and bust off in the winter. So after you're done winterizing, very last thing, go back and open this low point drain until you get pink antifreeze coming out. Now you have 2 options here. You get pink antifreeze, you can close this and stop. Or, if you want to, you can go ahead and just let all your antifreeze back out. The antifreeze has already pushed the water out of your water system. It's already protected and ready for winter. You don't have to keep the antifreeze in there. Another good simulation is going back to the drain plug. Sorry. Blowout plug. If we had tried to blow the lines off, you could see how much water is still left in your lines. And your lines in your camper do this up and down. My display is pretty level and straight. But then we wouldn't have the pump protected either. So, when you're all done, it's going to take about 2 gallons of antifreeze to push the water out of your lines. So that's 2 gallons of water that's going to be going into your gray tank now. You don't want that water sitting behind your gray valve and expanding and busting your plumbing on the exterior of the camper. I just take a 5-gallon bucket to your sewage outlet, go ahead and pull the gray line, bring it inside the house, dump it down the toilet. Rinse your bucket out. Just so water's not sitting behind you. You can do the black too. You're only going to put enough black water to get the pink into the toilet. It's not going to be very much, but still you don't want that valve to freeze. That's the winterize process. I have a lot more stuff to cover, but questions on the winterize process? Seems to be all good. It's cheap insurance if you want us to do it. Our winterize special this year is $94.94 out the door with tax. For $100, we'll take care of it and guarantee it. right, well, we'll move on. The next page in your packet, this one, should be other things to remember after winterizing your RV. So after we've winterized, we want to leave all valves in the winterizer position. Pump conversions, water heater bypasses. Remember on the water heater tank that I showed you, there's still going to be water inside of it. If we would have switched those valves back to the summer use mode, just walking around in the camper is going to slosh water back into the water lines out of the bottom of the tank. Then this bottom valve is susceptible to freezing and busting. So when you put it in the winter position, leave it in the winter position. You may want to leave yourself a note stating where you put the drain plugs after winterizing. What we do here, we open the door on the water heater. We take the freshwater drain plug, the water heater drain plug, and the low point drain plugs. Put everything inside the water heater and close it, and it's always right there in the water heater. You're not guessing which drawer you put it in, or in a storage compartment, or how to find them in the spring. Maybe leave a note stating what dry cell batteries you need for next season. Inspect your roof seams for cracks and seal it and apply as needed. Remember, your rubber roof needs a special type of caulking. This is a special formulated caulking for EPDM rubber roofing. It's the only thing that you can put on your rubber roof. Silicone or anything else will not stick to the rubber. It'll just peel right off. It's self-leveling. Put it in a caulk tube. You get a crack or a gap in your caulking, caulk right over top of it. It's self-leveling. It'll level out. Look just like that. You have to use this on your rubber roof. Use max air vents, window vents for good air circulation. Keep the inside of your RV dry, prevent mold and mildew, or use a type of humidifier, dehumidifier, to keep the moisture out of your RV. Yep. If you have a generator, portable generator or RV mounted generator, add a fuel stabilizer to the full gasoline tank, run the engine, circulate the stabilizer into the carburetor. You should be running your generator at least a half hour a month to keep it exercise, to keep the fuel flowing so the carburetor doesn't come up. The biggest problem we see with generators is carburetor, bad gas. Your tires, RV tires are only supposed to be in service for 5 years. They will dry rot before you can wear them out. Do the best you can to prevent them from dry rotting. Apply a protectant, such as a barrier, cardboard, plastic, plywood, anything between the ground and the tire. Just park your camper on something so it's not sitting on the dirt. Cover the tires. Some kind of sidewall cover you can get. We have custom tire covers. You could lean up a piece of plywood. You should be using some kind of tire dressing, something with a UV protectant, just to keep the UV rays off the sidewall so they don't dry rot. Tire pressure should be filled to the recommended pressure, either stated on the side of the tire or in your owner's information. Everybody's camper on the driver's side, up front, you have the VIN tag. It's got your vehicle information on it. Your tire information is stated on it. There's a tire that's got the PSI of what your tire should be. It's a lot easier trying to get on one knee and read PSI on a tire. It's right there. Fill the main battery with distilled water to the bottom of the split cell. Charge, clean, and store at a cool place such as a basement or garage, and charge every 2 months while in storage. You see a lot of people that don't do maintenance on their battery. Take your screwdriver out, pop the caps off. You have to use distilled water. And your water level should be up to the bottom of this lid, which is actually here. When your battery charges, it actually boils, and you lose water vapor from your battery. Water gets low, battery goes bad. Keep your batteries topped off with water. At least once a year.
You do that with ACM batteries too?
No. They should be non-30. Remove dry cell batteries. Now when we say dry cell batteries, we're talking double A's, triple A's, 9 volts. From your clocks and smoke detectors, throw them away. Your life is not worth a 9-volt battery from your smoke alarm that you didn't replace every year. Put a fresh one in every year. Usually about January, that's when you're going to start keeping out the yard with batteries that you good. I have other notes in addition to what's on here that you don't have, but just stuff I want to cover. Roof treatments. Of course, if your roof is dirty, the sidewalls of your camper is going to be dirty. There's a lot of stipulations on the warranty, but your rubber roof is warranted for about 10 years, roughly, depending on situations. 10 years is not a lot on a large investment on a pricey camper. Wash it, use some kind of RV roof treatment made for this EPDM rubber roof. This has a UV block in it. It's like Armor All on the dashboard in your truck. Prolong the life of your rubber roof. I would suggest caulking any roof seams or gaps the day prior to treating your roof, so that gives that a chance to set up and dry. Do not cover your camper with a blue tarp. We see people put tarps over cargo trailers, RVs, anything. I don't care how good you tie that tarp down. It's going to flail around in the wind, and it's going to rub all the paint off your siding. I've actually seen one camper that come loose, guy tied it with a nice 3/8 good hemp rope, and it sawed right into the corner of his camper. So, no tarps. If you insist on tarping it, buy a breathable, custom-fitted RV cover. We do a good roof inspection, make sure all the sealants are good. We just leave them on the lot for the winter.